Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Board Game Breakfast. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Camilla.
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
This is not your usual cast.
It's not.
We're jumping in today. We're subbing in. We're taking over, except for Roy. Roy's still there.
I'm still here with all the tech.
He's running it all, folks, okay? And speaking of running things, we are running the Dice Tower Kickstarter. You want to check that out, folks. If you want more of this content, you want to keep us going, you got to go to Kickstarter and check out our Dice Tower Kickstarter, or just go right to dicetowerkickstarter.com and follow the links from there. We've got lots of cool stuff there. You can get promos. You can sign up to play games. You can go to events. You can send us to events from stretch goals.
And we hit our first stretch goal, actually, so we'll have an update coming later today. We hit our first stretch goal. The Drakes will be doing their top 100 games of all time.
There you go.
And up and coming, hopefully a 36-hour marathon. So
very nice.
Be cool to hit that today, too.
There you go. Make sure you check that out, dicetowerkickstarter.com.
Speaking of things you can back, you can get a shout out like these fine folks here. These are backers of our Kickstarter from last year. So a shout out and thanks to Patrick Schumann, Ben, Loki, Mark Noon. We're going to go with Noon, Mark.
There you go.
Free hugs.
Free hugs.
Their name is Free Hugs?
It says Free Hugs.
They're giving out free hugs, apparently.
I take the free hugs. Brandon Collins, Sean Roberts, David Phillips, Jason Trutman. No thanks to our lawnmowers, but thanks to Lars Hoffman. We appreciate your support last year, and like Z said, check out DiceTowerKickstarter.com. I had the email address in my head.
Not a contest, the Kickstarter,
Yep.
There we go, folks. That's going to do it. So we're going to go ahead and jump into eye catchers. Here we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with the eye catchers here.
Man.
My eye catcher this time, and the only time because I'm not here normally, is going to be Temple Code. So Temple Code here is from the same designer that did Turing Machine.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Which I didn't really like. Thought it was too brainy.
Really? Oh, gotcha.
And from Archaeologic that I haven't played yet and looked kind of tricksy and sort of like the planet rotating thing was sending me for a loop. And I'm hoping that the third time here is the charm for me, because this one sounds a little simpler than the other two.
You think he's getting simpler with his games as opposed to getting harder?
That's interesting.
I don't know. It just sounds...
They weren't ready for me.
Yeah,
it's true. I was
it just sounds a little more straightforward. So in this one, you have cards that are facing away from you. Gotcha. And on your turn, there's a couple of them face up on the table. You take one for you and you give one to somebody else. And then you, I guess, flip it and match the backs of the cards, have little circles, and if it forms a full circle, then that thing is on your card on the side you can see in that position. And if it's a little triangle, like an orange triangle, then it's somewhere else or not on there. So it's a little mastermindy.
Interesting.
And at some point then, when you're ready, you can guess what's on the card you can't see. And you only need to do that twice correctly in the game and you win the whole thing.
Oh, that's cool.
So it sounds easier. The Turing Machine thing is like brain melting to me. You know what I mean? But mastermind-inspired code breaking, I can work with that. I like that kind of thing. And in fact, it reminds me of the one from Leo Colavini that came out not too long ago with the temple theme. Kind of a similar theme. Where you had to figure out...
No, not Lost Code.
Yeah, Lost Code or whatever it's called.
Okay.
Figure out the codes for the numbers you have that you can't see. This sounds like that.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know that I was really following it very well. But
I enjoyed deduction in general, so this one looks like it'd be pretty cool.
I'm too dumb for it.
Really?
Yeah, and they don't make a lot of deduction games either, and clearly this designer, Johan Levitt, knows what they're doing when it comes to
it's ridiculous.
To these games. I mean, these games are, there's very few people making these kinds of games because I assume they're incredibly hard to figure out. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks, again, a little cutesy, a little lighter maybe.
more accessible.
I think this is one I might be able to get into and enjoy. So
there you go.
Yeah, Temple Code. I'm looking forward to it, and it comes out in June too. It's not that far out.
Oh, so direct to
nice.
retail. I'm so excited these days when it's a direct to retail. I'm like, yes.
You don't have to wait an entire
That's a
year.
thing. It's so
Yeah.
odd any day or nowadays. Awesome, very cool. All right, Betrayal at House on the Hill is probably the oldest game on my top 100.
Yeah.
I adore this game. I love anyway, it's still really fresh every time I play it, even though it's, early 2000s it came out. So this here caught my eye. I had someone send this to me from Twitter, a Twitter announcement. Betrayal, I forget what it's called, Lost Scrolls, Deck of Lost Souls. And it's going to be a standalone card game.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's not on BGG or anything, so I don't have any more information about it. It's talked about being a speed run, so I don't know if it's going to be just a quick, simple game, or if it's going to be like a real-time element to it. I don't know, but if they can give me that betrayal feeling and just a deck of cards, I think this is really, really intriguing.
It's crazy to me the art direction they've gone with this. Like from regular Betrayal, you think back in like the 2000s to like seeing the art on this now. It's amazing. It's like, holy crap, is that even the same sort of IP game or whatever?
I don't love the gold foiling here, but I love this color scheme. You know, I think that mint blue kind of color is really pretty, and so it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to hear more information about this. It's
for sure.
Very exciting.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mine is Dune War for Arrakis. I think people are getting their copies of this now, and this is just one of those games that I've been really excited for a long time. It's by the same designers as the War of the Ring, so it's supposed to have that same sort of vibe, use a similar dice system and things like that as well, and people are starting to get their copies in, so I really hope one comes into the Dice Tower soon, but I'm really stoked to play, because I grew up with Dune, I love Dune, I love basically the other Dune games as well, so I'm really cool to see Simon's take on the Dune IP with lots of fancy miniatures as well. But yeah, I'm always down for like head-to-head, and those designers are known for War of the Ring, which is like Lord of the Rings in a box. Hopefully this will be very thematic Dune in a box, War for Arrakis.
Same idea, right? Two sides, asymmetric. I mean, it is kind of the same DNA as the Lord of the Rings, but Dune flavored, right?
Yeah, I was reading some of the basically the reviews or ratings on here, and people are like, yeah, this gives you very much like the War of the Ring vibe or whatever, but with that Dune IP. So it's going to be a big, sprawling game, even though 120 minutes, if that's true, is not nearly as bad as War of the Ring normally is. But also, that might not be true.
Yeah, I don't know about that. 2 hours.
Is that a speed play?
They make big games, these guys.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, that is our eye catchers.
All right, let's go ahead and go to a contributor. Here we go.
Hi everyone, it's Stella, and that is Tarrant from Maple University, and this is In the Footsteps of Darwin.
Yes, there have been a couple of Darwin-themed
I was going to say that too.
In recent times.
This is a light one. This is a tile placement, tile drafting game.
There's a grid, a 3x3 grid of tiles, and you will. There's a common marker that goes around. You'll be in a certain column at the start of your turn. You take a tile, put it on your board in a way that's going to score as many points as possible, and then the ship sails around based on which tile you took. So the choices open to your opponent are based on, or to the next player, are based on the choices that you made.
And you place it on your board. Like, look how fancy this is. Looks like a board, right? Like, thematically, you're helping Darwin for his research, and you place the animals correctly on the right color and the right type. So which continents, which type?
Yeah, each tile has a specific place. You can try to make things flat, and when you fill rows and columns, you get 5 bonus points. Or you can try covering things up, and when you do that, you get end game objectives. So you can go either direction. Each of the tiles has some sort of points on it, but only the top ones are visible. So you got to balance that.
Quick game with a bit of end game bonuses. It's quite fun and quite a quick turn. So check it out. I think this is worth for if you like tile placement game, if you like family games, you can be more strategic about it. It's one of those games.
Yeah, I would say it's a game that really is set up very well for a 2-player tile placement, because since it's your opponent gets the choice based on your choice, that can factor into your play, and that works better at 2 players than higher count.
And that is In the Footsteps of Darwin. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Happy breakfast everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about Deductio, which is all about trying to work out what number someone has. So there's a deck of cards that's numbered 1 to 20, and everyone is going to get a secret number. On your turn, you can do one of two things. You'll give clues, or you will guess someone's number. Now, to give clues, you take a look at one of the 3 in the market. They're going to be stuff like, well, this number's not between 4 and 9, or maybe it's just less than 14. You're trying to give as little information away as possible by taking one of those cards and playing it in front of you. If none of them are actually true about your number, you have to take all of them and put them horizontal to say, none of these are like my number. Instead of giving information away, you can try and guess someone's number. Maybe you've whittled it down to a 50-50 and you think, I'm going to go for it. Let's take a punt. I think you've got number 5. Hopefully they reveal it and you were right. You take that as a point and it's the first to 3 points wins. Or you get it wrong and you then have to give 2 bits of information away about your card from that market in the middle. It's a really good sort of brain-burning number-based puzzle. If you're looking for a quick card game, it's not for you. But if you're looking for a deduction-based puzzle with numbers that you can really work out and be very logical, it's really good, especially even as you add players. At 2, it's really fun to work out what your opponent's number is, but with more people around the table, you start risking it a little bit more. I have a 3 in 1 chance of getting the number, but if I let it go round the table a bit more, someone else might guess their number before me. So you start to risk it. But that's Deductio. I've really enjoyed it. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
All right, we're gonna have a little top 10 here on breakfast, and this time it is the top 10 cruise experiences. So we just got back from the Dice Tower Cruise. My favorite board gaming event, period, is the Dice Tower Cruise. It's so much fun. But we want to talk about a few of our experiences on there. And if you're on the Dice Tower Cruise, make sure to go ahead and in the comments be talking about your favorite experiences, and then I will pick one of those for us to add to the number 1 spot of our top 10. So the first one for me, they've already sang it in chat. Food, 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 food. My number 10 is tacos on the ship. This is
tacos on the ship.
This is the first time that there was like a complimentary place that was just all they served was like Mexican and tacos and nachos and burritos and quesadillas. And it was like open at like lunchtime to like right on the edge of dinner time, like every day.
Yeah.
And
it's like the off hours kind of place to go.
Yeah, I started like going to like when we were at the Windjammer, I'd be like, I'm just gonna go down and grab some tacos real quick and come back up. So I started like grabbing tacos and things like that. I'm just a huge fan of like making grab your own stuff for tacos, and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So that was my number 10, tacos.
Very nice. All right, number 9 here is finding the perfect gift for my son. He is 11 and just really hard to shop for because he's 11 and just has an 11-year-old attitude. But I think it was the last stops. We were in Jamaica, and I found this wooden carved skull with like this big mohawk, and he's really into the mohawk and the crazy hairstyles and you know, skulls and being so cool. So yeah, I'm really excited for
skater.
this. He's so skater, right? And so I'm really excited to get this for him. And I've just found the perfect gift because that's so much stress of what do you bring back for him that he's not just gonna be like, oh, thanks, Mom, trash, you know, and that's just not gonna be another thing. So anyway, super excited that I found something very cool that I think he'll like, which means he'll hate it, but that's okay. I tried.
All right.
That works? Okay.
That's how that works. For kids, it's a gamble.
My number 8 is also from Jamaica, and it was walking around that little Jamaican port, finding this little brewery, like, not even like the brewery's in there. They rented out, you were there too, so
yeah.
they rented out this like little hole in the wall, and they had a couple beers there. Like I said, Camilla's there too, and we tried to get Mike to come over there too, but he had done some excursion and was off having a lunch, which I heard was a dud anyway.
Yeah,
but
sucker, he got got.
He got got. He would not have gotten got if he had come to this place. This Clubhouse Brewery place had some really good stuff. It was tasty. It was very local apparently, because it is not like available anywhere.
Oh, wow.
But in Jamaica, like that's where it
crazy.
is.
I've looked at it, like, can you get it? Can you import it? Nothing. And they didn't sell. They only sold it there. I would have brought some back, but they only sold it in the growlers. And you can't take the growlers on the cruise with you.
Which would be like,
I was
yeah.
like, oh.
And that'd be pretty ridiculous to be like, I'm taking a giant jug of this beer.
You say ridiculous. I say a good day.
Oh,
I
wow.
say policy change. But anyway, yeah, no, a couple of Jamaican brews, which were delectable. That's my number 8.
Mango and sorrel. Come to find out, I really like sorrel. Oh, it's so good.
Good
I want to go
stuff.
back.
So I don't normally do too many excursions on like the cruise, but this time Ruthie was like, Black Friday, we're gonna schedule an excursion.
yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
make it happen. So she scheduled for us to do at Haiti Labadee. We did jet skis. So we actually went and rode on jet skis and like went around and did like a little jet ski tour and stuff like that, and just had like a blast with it. I'd never been on a jet ski before in my life, and Ruthie was screaming the entire time. It was great.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
awesome.
I mean, jet skis are wild. You know, it's just like they're very fast. But yeah, it was very fun. So yeah, there's awesome, crazy stuff on the cruise that you can do. All sorts of different excursions that you can
Yeah.
do as well, like go exploring different adventures in different places. I did jet skis.
That's
So-
cool.
That's really neat. Yeah. Yeah, that's
really
awesome.
cool. That's awesome. Right, number 6 here is I got to teach one of my favorite games from last year, First in Flight. There's some friends or so that we know from previous events that were walking by with it in their hand. I was like, oh, are you going to play that? And they're like, yeah, we're just going to sit down and learn from the rule book. I was like, if you give me 30 minutes, I'll teach it to you. Didn't work out. Anyway, scheduled it for later, got to sit down and teach them First in Flight, and it just... I really love this game. So it's a lot of fun just to have a game that you like, and it's a little, I'm always a little hesitant to play one of my favorites that's newer, because it's like, is it going to hold up still? You know what I mean? It's like, I've only played it 2 or 3 times. Is it just those really good experiences? Is it going to hold up? And just playing it and be like,
You get afraid you're gonna play
yes.
with the wrong person. They're gonna ruin the game.
Right, you know, we're like, oh man, was it, you
This
know,
plane's gonna crash.
right, like, was it just a one-trick pony kind of thing, you know? No, it was just so good. I love this push
that's
your luck
awesome.
game, and it was fun to teach it, and just a great time. So got to teach one of my favorite games of last year, and it definitely held up and met my I don't want to say expectations, but my previous experiences in it. So teaching First in Flight to Tony and Leo. Fantastic.
Nice.
All right, my number 5 was learning a game I've been meaning to learn. That's Daybreak from Matt Leacock.
Yeah.
I mean, the designer of Pandemic, one of my absolute favorite games of all time.
That's a good one.
And this is one that had come into the Dice Tower. It's in the library, but I hadn't gotten a chance to try it out. So I got to learn it there, and it is a neat game. It's very different than kind of what I was expecting. I figured it would be
interesting.
Pandemic-y, but it's really not. It feels... it's this sort of combo-rific building columns of cards where every single card has a special ability, and you can
Nice.
either cover the card with a new card and then save the icons at the top from the old card and have a new ability, or you just tuck one card behind the power you want to keep and you just give yourself the little symbols
Oh, interesting.
and kind of juice up the ability by doing that. Like, oh, this
You're right.
power on this card says I get to, I don't know, clean my stratosphere 1 for every yellow symbol. And I can keep adding yellow symbols to the back, or I can replace the actual power. It's cool. I love that stuff. And it's nothing like anything in Pandemic or any of his other games. So I really dug it. Neat production, cool gameplay, very cooperative. I liked it a lot. So Daybreak was really fun to learn. And I don't often learn a lot of new games on the cruise. I'm more like teaching than learning. So it was nice to be able to turn the tables on that. So,
I think
my
had
number
I
5.
Yeah, I think had I played this last year, it would have been on my top games of the year.
Oh,
I think it would
wow.
have been in my top 10. I really enjoyed it.
Nice, nice.
yeah, it's
All right, so my number 5.
So my number 4, I kind of cheated because I have just playing games with so many awesome people. I played a ton of different games on the cruise. It was just cool to like get with so many different groups and like playing games with families together, playing games with a bunch of different people, and just being able to teach. I taught some people last night. I played Space. I played some more of the Tales to Amaze, which was my like number 1 game from last year. It was really cool to like be able to teach that because every other time I've played, other people have taught it. I pulled it out and taught it to other people.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, and just so many great games. It's just awesome. The culture we have around gaming on Dice Tower events is just so cool. Just everybody's just down to game, and it's just cool to be able to throw a game on the table, and immediately the table fills up, and you're able to play with people, and they're just there to game. So playing games with so many awesome people is my number 4.
Great. My number 3, I'm with you guys. I don't learn many new games at conventions. This was the exception to that. I learned Earthborn Rangers. This is one that was on my list for a while. I really wanted to pick it up because it has the roots in Arkham Horror, some Marvel Champions. In playing it, I felt a lot of Lord of the Rings, the card games, roots in it. I think that's the one it most closely resembled for me. But it was just, it's got this nature thing that I love, and it was fun because I actually learned it from some people that I met at my very first retreat that I attended. So my very first Dice Tower event I went to, some people, they reached out, letting me know they're going to be here again. They're loving this game, and I was like, I'll bring it if you'll teach it, and we made it happen. I'm so very, very grateful because I just really, really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to dive more into this campaign. So yeah, learning Earthborn Rangers is my best event of it, number 3 here on our top 10.
It's really nice that you got a great combination on an event like this of spontaneity, like showing up and seeing what's there and learning something, but also you can mildly schedule yourself and be like, I'm going to bring this thing, we'll play it together.
Right.
I love mixing those two things together, being able to be spontaneous, have the entire library there. You can bring on your own games too if you want to, but you can also schedule a couple of things, and that feels great, that combination. I really do like that.
Best of both worlds. That's a good way to put it.
Absolutely. My number 2 was spontaneous, but it was teaching one of my favorite games to some folks that we've met before. Actually, they've been here to the studio a long time ago. And I got to teach Deus to them too. I love Deus. It's such a fun blast, and I was able to make it fit on one of those little tables up in the Windjammer.
That's impressive.
We rocked it. 3 players. Really had a good time. It had been such a long time since I taught it that I taught it just to Levi first, but it was a pretty rough teach. And then as soon as I finished teaching, we played like 2 rounds. His wife, who had not been available, she became available and showed up. So I'm like, let's just throw you into it. I'll start again. I'll teach you.
Oh, nice.
Just because I wanted to kind of like, let me teach it again. Hopefully the second time's a little cleaner.
Oh, wow.
And it's a little bit smoother. So I taught it again to her, started up from the beginning, and I had a great time with it, and I think they did too. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
good.
Deus is a total blast, and was one of my favorite things to do on the ship.
And again, there were those tucking cards or using them, that same from Daybreak.
A little bit like Daybreak, actually, yeah.
If you can tuck cards with special abilities, Z's in.
I am.
So the number 1 here is going to be a pick from you guys. I'm going to go ahead and add Beef's thing here. The escape room on the cruise was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of people doing the escape room. It was very space themed, like launching a actual
like an Apollo thing,
thing, so like an actual real life spaceship.
And it looked like you were in the NASA kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
I saw the little workstations.
I saw so many people's pictures from it, and it definitely looked like a lot of fun. I wish we had some pictures here for this as well. But yeah, there's also an escape room that's been on like every single cruise, and they're all different on different ships. So very thematic as that goes along. So yeah, that is our top 10 list of cruise experiences. Let's keep going.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at Les Miserables, Eve of Rebellion.
On your turn, you can do one of 3 things. You can take a card, either face up or from the top of the deck. You can use a card, thus using the power listed on the card, or you can score a card. You can score everything listed on the card, and then you either kill it or save it, depending on which way would be best for your strategy. What can be a little tricky about this game is you have the 3 face-up cards, and if there are some of these cards are going to be better at scoring later in the game, like this guy. Save 3, save 7, and save 12. To get all of those points, you're going to need a lot of stuff out to get that. Versus some cards that are better off scoring early. Save Cosette and save Valjean. If they just happen to be in the save pile already, well, this is a great card to take because they're going to automatically score almost. Or if you have them in your hand and you have control whether they're going to save pile or not. But if somebody sees you pick up this card that allows you to save Cosette and save Valjean, if they have Valjean in their hand, they're going to kill Valjean. They're not going to put him in the save pile.
This is a hard one to tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match, because it does in some regards. Some of the characters are going to react in certain ways that make sense. They want to be with this person or be away from that person, etc. And that kind of ties in thematically to what you're used to with these characters. Then there's going to be times where you're just going to be killing people, saving people based on the points they're going to score for you. So it's not exactly going to be the same characters that die in the play at the book as it would be here on this game. So it's almost like an alternate universe in some ways, and it's bizarre, and it's kind of tough when you're taking like an IP like this and trying to make a board game without making it overly linear, and I think that's going to work for it. So yes, in some ways the characters are here, they interact in the ways they're supposed to be as much as you can from just what's a simple card game with some coins. But in other ways, it's like you're creating an alternate universe for these guys, and that part of it doesn't really fit in. So what do I think? I think fans of the book and the play and the movies, I think they're going to like that there's a game based on this. I think they're going to like this game, even though there's a little bit of a twist to the history of it, and things may not play out exactly like it did in the source material. But I think they're going to enjoy the characters and the art and the way this looks and the way that it plays. It's not the best card game in the world, but I think it is the best one based on this source material, and that's all they may have to go on for this one. So, it is what it is.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today I'm going to be talking about a game that I've played, and I think after playing it a few more times, I think could be considered one of my favorite games of the year. And that game is called First in Flight. So what I like about First in Flight is, number one, it has a very strong history theme. And what I mean by that is it shows many people from the past help contributing to the creation of planes, and history is my favorite subject in school, so I really, really like it. Another thing that I like is the press your luck in this game, surprisingly. I usually don't like press your luck games because they're just super heavily relied on luck. But this game, they definitely use that well. Like, it's super intense. Like, when you're playing cards, when you fly, you have a chance to either crash immediately or to fly on and to win the game. That was one of my scenarios, and I ended up drawing and winning the game, and it's just super high intense, and I really like it. Another thing that I like is I just like the deck building aspect of it. I think it just has a really strong deck building aspect, and it feels like you're actually developing throughout the years that are played in the game, which I really like. Just making development, even in life, it's just really awesome. And finally, I really like just the premiumness of this game. It has some nice metal coins, some nice pilot bus and plane bus, which I think are really, really cool. And it even has a nice plastic insert that just fits at the center of the board. And I really think this game has a strong resume to be one of my favorite games of the year. So just please check it out. It's an amazing game. And have a great breakfast and a plane-tastic day. Bye.
What we do here is go back.
Old school games. Today we are talking about Citadels, and thankfully,
Let's get rid of beef.
Beef is still
Bye,
rocking
beef.
it. Bye.
Bye.
You got beef? Not anymore. This is thankfully Eric Summer, Jesus, is not here right now, or he would still be screaming the name.
Everybody will scream it in chat in just a second.
Yeah,
Every single
that's
time
true.
you say it.
That's true.
It's like a Dice Tower meme at this point.
That
Scream
is
what? What are we
very
talking about?
true. Eric Summer hates this game with a burning passion, and every time it comes up, he screams a title. You know, and it's
Actually, no, I
become a
didn't
thing.
know.
Somebody will
Okay.
do it.
Huh.
Somebody will do it.
Anyway, Citadels is a game from the year 2000 from Bruno Fedudi, and it is one of the earliest games that utilizes this idea of character selection and having a unique character, but that changes from round to round as you draft a new character every round. It's a bit inspired by Cosmic Encounter, but in Cosmic Encounter you have one unique power for the entire game. In Citadels, that changes every round. It's also inspired by a much smaller, less popular game that came out before it from Marcel André Casasola Merkel, which is called Veritaire.
Oh, interesting.
And this is it has sort of a piratey theme in which you were also doing sort of this selecting roles. That game is not very well known. It's not very popular. Citadels kind of took that and exploded. Sold millions of copies, is one of, or if not the best-selling game from Bruno Fedudi. And it's a game that's currently still in my top 100, actually. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a game that like it can be divisive sometimes.
Very.
Like I love Citadels. I played it a ton. Like I used to play this all the time at lunch break at work with a bunch of people at Target. Like all the time we'd play Citadels and we'd play a bunch of different that. I've played with tons of like people during game groups back in the day. Like I haven't pulled out Citadels in quite a while. I think the last time I played it was during a Catch-a-Palooza with Yuzi. Was the last time I played Citadels.
That's
but
right.
yeah, it's one of those games I forget how like backstabby this game is. It's not really backstabby because you don't even know who you're backstabbing. But with the assassin and the thief and things like that, this is one of the few games I've had people get like actually salty or upset when someone like steals something from them or assassinates them for the third time in a row. You know, that sort of thing. It's like, don't pick the good characters if you don't want to be assassinated. Nobody's assassinating the like witch. Like you're the merchant. The merchant gets assassinated. That's what happens. You know. But it's a very interesting game, and it's all about getting those cards out.
Now, this is the game that I have. I think everyone loves it, I feel like. And so I keep looking. It's like, maybe I should play it.
Very divisive, like Roy was saying.
And then maybe, I guess all I ever hear about is how everyone here loves it. And that's kind of, you know, who I hear from all the time. And so it's like, maybe I should look into it. And every time I look into it, I was like, I do not think this is a game for me. I've played some other games that feel similar and have that role selection. And I like that mechanism, but not when it leads to backstabbing and that kind of stuff. Because it's just one step forward for 3 steps behind, and whoever takes the least steps backwards is the winner, is how I feel. I'm just like, and it's just like, it's rage-inducing. So I haven't played this one, so I don't know, but I think that I have no interest in playing it and would hate it.
There's a little...
I will say this. Citadels, back when it first came out in 2000, was a very, like you said, very mean, very, you can just get hosed by somebody else randomly killing or stealing from a role, and you having had that role. There is some strategy there.
Right.
You have an idea. If you play enough, you'll know who I should assassinate, when to take a role and it feel a little safer, and when not to, when you should risk it and when not to. But as more content has come out for the game, they had the Dark City expansion, came out like 4 years after the base game, gave you more roles. And then recently, they've come out with a bunch of new content as well. My edition of this is the big box edition, and there are now a ton of different characters you can be. So if you hate the assassin, you can pull that character out.
Right.
You can still, I mean, it's still replaced by something that will have some kind of confrontation, but it is not so-and-so skip your turn.
Right, yeah.
You know, you can you can take out the witch, you can change these things and massage it, so it's you
can tailor to your liking.
It's a little safer experience, it's a little bit of a softer experience. So I think if I was going to teach you, I would try to pick characters that maybe aren't those like OG, you're dead kind of characters.
I want a soft game.
I mean, I do like the mind games in this a little bit because you do have to kind of like size up your opponents and try to figure out what they're picking. And it's like, this person has a lot of gold right now. What role are they going to be picking right now?
See, and I hate that
sort of thing.
I hate that. I hate when you have to like try to read and not like the meta of you're going to do this, therefore I should do this, but you're going to think I'm going to do that to get you on that, so you're probably doing that, so I should do this. Boom.
I love every bit of that.
I absolutely despise that.
You might not like this one.
You might not like it.
It might not be for you. There's a lot of new games, like somebody's mentioning right now, Valbara and Libertalia kind of feel like this in many ways.
Those are the two I've played. I found both of them fine. You know, like every now and then I'll be willing to play that, and I can, but not twice in a row, kind of thing. Both of those are like, cool, I'll play them once in a group of people and enjoy the experience of the people. And take a lot of deep breaths. And
assassinate. No, sorry.
There you go. It's a classic. It's a modern classic.
Oh, for sure.
But yes, it is not for everyone. That is Citadels from Bruno Fedudi. Let's go ahead and move on before I get stabbed.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
My name is Dave Luza.
And I'm Ilka Luza. And we're very cheerful because it's a new year.
Yes. Happy 2024.
Yes. May all your board game dreams come true. And others too.
Oh, wow.
It rhymes, so
if
it's
it
true.
rhymes, it must be true.
Yes.
Yes. Now, we are very excited. Also, we have talked about this. What happened in 2023 when it came to board game purchases.
There was some slight overspending, Lorcana. And, we want to make smart, informed decisions this year to only buy games that we know more of than just a newsletter or some pictures that we've seen.
Yes.
So only games
true.
that we have maybe played at a convention or at a friend's house.
Seen reviews about from our favorite content creators.
Yes.
Yes.
And I guess we can shake on that.
We can definitely shake on that.
Wormspan.
You.
Elizabeth Hargrave. Connie Fogelman. Wormspan. Dragon Stave. Dragon's shape of all shapes and sizes. It's dragons.
We already own everything there is to get for Wingspan, which is fun.
Birds, and now it's dragons. I need it. I want it.
You just said not in anything that you just saw in a newsletter, but a game that you've actually played that has been played by people that you trust, that give their opinion on it, and they say, yes, this is okay, this is good to get.
Mm-hmm. But dragons, Dave. Dragons.
Hello everybody and welcome to my segment, A Board Game in 1,000 Pieces. So, I will end my series for Villainous because I did the last one. And it was Hook. Captain Hook's goal is it to defeat Peter Pan on the Jolly Rogers. We've got the Devil's Branch, we've got the Mermaid Lagoon, the Skull Island and the Jolly Roger. He can achieve his goal with the help of cards like Smee or Aye Captain, his chest, a cannon, or possession. If you want to spoil his game, you can do this by using heroes like Tinkerbell or Wendy, the crocodile, of course, Peter Pan, or something like fairy dust. Okay, so that's the game, that's the jigsaw, let's do it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. And if you want to see more jigsaw stuff I do, you can find me on Instagram or YouTube. Bye bye!
Jason.
What am I doing?
Cruise vlog video. We're
Cruise
live.
vlog video. We're live.
All right, we're gonna come on now. We're gonna check out the old vlog.
Old vlog video. Yeah, we just came back from the
and then we're gonna
cruise.
talk about it.
Like we
2016. Good
2016.
night. That's a long time ago.
Look at those young cats.
Oh,
my
so little.
goodness me! Oh, look at Jason.
Oh, transitional
Look at him.
glasses.
Look at Jason.
Wow. Wait, does
Who
he
is
wear
that
glasses
young
now?
man?
He doesn't wear glasses anymore, does he?
Who's this guy? He doesn't look like a grandfather. He wasn't yet. Now he is.
Spoilers.
This is a long time ago. Look at this. It's the same shot over and over. Jason, what's he doing?
Oof.
This is Jason's face.
There we go. That's cool.
What is this? The promenade? The Royal Promenade? Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the Independence of the Seas, which
don't
was
think
the
I've been
ship
on the
they went to the
Independence.
first time.
Okay.
Oh, this
I think
is
it's
the
quite a bit
first time
smaller.
we did this. Is that right, Roy? This
Yeah,
was
I
the
mean,
first
I wasn't
one?
there.
The first
but
cruise or the first
first cruise.
vlog?
The first cruise, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is
Eric
the infamous.
Summer.
This is from the infamous "Is Starbucks fast food" moment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, people, if you know what I'm talking about, where
No.
Tom found a list of top 10 fast food places and Starbucks was on it, then you're old school and I salute you.
Where is that? That's a large room. Good
I
night.
did go to one that was in a room like that. I think I might have gone on this ship once. Look at that, Robert Geisling. Did you see that Robert
That was
Geisling there?
Geislinger? No, it was not. Let me
Wait,
see.
wait.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Wait.
That's me.
That's you?
Wait.
That was me with
I
my
didn't recognize you either.
Wait.
big head.
There's Robert Geislinger right there.
That's Geislinger? No,
That's
it's not.
Geislinger.
No.
That's how I remember Robert.
A little more.
That's Robert Geislinger, yes.
When he was just a contributor to the Dice Tower. Look at that. Now he's... Oh, there's
He's like
Kenny. There's the Kenny.
14.
I'm pretty sure he's like 38
Wait, go back
in
to
that
Z.
video.
Let's see Z.
No, don't look
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Z.
yeah,
no,
yeah.
Z, no.
He didn't have a hat on either.
Is that the back of Z's head? Oh, almost got
That's
it.
plenty. That's enough.
Listen, you gotta save some for the future.
So we are playing.
There's Z's head.
There you are. Ooh, no
yeah.
glasses either. Why
I
not?
must have been wearing contacts.
Oh.
Look at these cool cats.
So I'm guessing that we were playing Wits and Wagers? Something like that?
Maybe, yeah. Who's doing the camera, though? It looks like Tom.
Well, it's Jason because it's Jason's vlog, so that's why it's all over the place.
Okay, good night.
So there we go. We had that space there. We're doing some game shows.
He's
And
so
there you
young.
go.
Sam over there. That's Jason again, looking sweaty, boy.
He's gonna show
Oh,
you
that's
off.
Tom.
That was
Okay,
that
that
was
was unfortunate.
That's that was a
Sorry,
weird
Tom,
shot.
we
Now
apologize.
you know. Now, folks, you know that Jason comes up to Tom's belly. That's how tall,
Jason is
that's
this
how
tall.
Tom is, and how short Jason is.
That's one of the cool things about the cruise, though, is like there's so many cool things to do as far as like going to pools, going to exotic
yeah.
locations, all the food. But then, all in all, it's all about playing board games with our board
really
game
is,
library.
yeah.
It's just everybody coming together and playing tons and tons of games. And even back at the first cruise, it was all about
Look at
gaming
you.
and the Dice Tower community.
In a
you know?
polo shirt, too.
That ain't
And
me.
not like
No,
a little
no way.
over thing
No,
that you
no
wear.
way,
Look
no.
at you.
I don't know that
So
man.
you're so adorable.
No, that's
All right.
Young.
no.
Well, I think we've seen enough of this. So.
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, we will go to our next segment of contributors.
Hey, I'm Jordan. Let's talk about a weeknight game. This is Forest Shuffle. Forest Shuffle is at my house, this is probably our newest weeknight obsession. I've played it for a while on Board Game Arena, just introduced it to my wife and she has fallen in love with this one. It's a card game. It's one of those card games where it's just like giant stack of cards. Think like Ark Nova, Earth, Terraforming Mars, Wingspan, that kind of thing, where you just get this giant stack of cards and you're just kind of finding the most broken combo with the cards as you can. I've seen some people online say that there's certain strategies that are better than others, but I mean, who knows if you're even going to be able to accomplish it? I mean, you have a giant stack of cards, but you're also playing with other people who are also vying for the same cards. It's not like somebody's going to randomly stumble upon this, or I don't know. Well, I'll let the better players on the internet argue over that. I really just enjoy playing it. In it, you have multi-use cards. The cards are going to be used for playing as trees, or they could be animal cards that are played around those trees. You kind of tuck them underneath the trees to score them in different ways. But the cards are also used to purchase or play those cards. Think like Race for the Galaxy does that. A bunch of other cards do that. And in this one, you are trying to plant these trees, get these animals around them, and you're trying to synergize those different trees. So if you play a wolf, you definitely want to go for some deer, because that wolf is going to score points for those deers. Or if you have a gnat in there, you're going to want to try to play some of those bat cards. And if you have bat cards, you also want to try to have that dormouse in there. And if you have those, or if you have the butterflies, you definitely want to try to get the hedgehogs tucked under there, because they're going to give you bonus points for all of the butterflies on top of the points that you've already scored for the butterflies. It's awesome. Like our games are always in like the hundreds. I scored in the almost 300 the last game. It's great. I love this one. Forest Shuffle. Check it out. It's wonderful, 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 wonderful game. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Today we're talking about Waffle Time from AEG. This is basically a game where you are going to be making your own very tasty looking waffle. You're going to be getting fruit all laid out on your board. Every time you play, you're going to be drafting new cards that allow you to score all these different fruits in different ways. And they all require lots and lots of syrup to meet the maximum amount of tastiness. And if you can add some whipped cream, so much the better.
Yeah. If you think of Waffle Time and you think one of two things. Oh my gosh, it's such a fun theme. I can't wait to play. You should totally play this game. Or if you think a game about waffles, I don't want to play that. You should totally play this game. It was so much more fun than I anticipated. I had a blast playing it with it. We played with our 6-year-old. She had a blast playing it, getting all these syrups and putting them on her board and trying to make these shapes. Good time overall.
There's this drafting board that's in the middle where you're going to be choosing what fruits you're going to be adding to your waffle. It also kind of doubles as the round tracker. It also doubles as your income. It kind of is one central focus that requires very little pieces and very little thought to keep it all running, but takes care of it all for you. It also kind of helps you randomize what's going to happen in the next round. It's a brilliant, clever little device that keeps the whole game in check with like hardly any effect on players.
Oh, yeah.
No time at all. It's simple and brilliant and clear.
So cool, so cool. I really enjoyed this. I am looking forward to see this designer come up with more things. I want to play games, so keep at it.
Yeah, be prepared to be hungry when you're playing this one.
If you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany at Board Game Reviews. Until then, this is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye everybody.
Guys.
All right, another mailbag segment here. Well, I guess we should go ahead and see who is in our mailbag today.
Who crawled up in there? Who crawled up in the mail?
All right, so we have a great question here all about which IP or which property do you think a game hasn't been made for? Now, first of all, I'd like to point out that someone has committed mail fraud here. I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's Chris and Wendy, I don't know who it is, but someone has clearly stolen mail, and that is a crime in all 50 states and territories, Guam and all that. So, Puerto Rico, I didn't want to leave y'all out. But just so you know, that you're watching a felony take place. But if I was to pick an IP, number one, the first thing that instantly comes to mind, because there are so many great IP games, is something like Brandon Sanderson's, Way of Kings, Path of Kings, or whatever it's called. I love that whole world, and it's so different. It's very high sci-fi, right? Now, if you asked me originally, but then again, there's a game based on this already, it would be traditional magicians, the idea of doing tricks. Now, that would be Tricarion, but this one has not been tapped. You have such a cool world, or even like the other one, I'm looking at it right there, Robert Jordan's, what's that called? The Eye of the World? Whatever it's called. That whole series. Yes, there are a lot of high fantasy games. There's a lot of games that deal with fantasy and deal with the idea of doing, whether it be a dungeon crawl or some sort of RPG, or what was the Legacy of Dragonhold from Asmodee a few years ago, Fantasy Flight. We've seen a lot of these really high level fantasy games, but I would love to see Sanderson's style of game come to an actual game. Now, not something, I think they did like whatever, Choose Your Own Adventure, Paths of Wonder, whatever it's called. But I would love to see something where you're actually playing as these characters on the board, cutting up a big giant crab, right? And getting the shards out of it. I've read this, I promise, I really have, but I can't think of the words. Anyway, you cut open a crab, and there's a giant, thing that you can make a sword out of. And my goodness, that'd be great if you could craft that sword. And wouldn't it be great if there was a way to do this in a campaign style, where you're playing this, or you pick a different type of character, Journeys in Middle-earth style? Well, who you pick depends on how you play the game and completely changes your experience. So, that would be my answer. I would love to see a Brandon Sanderson, is it Path of Kings? I don't know why I can't remember that. But that series would be amazing if done by a designer and a creator who just loves that whole series and loves the idea and loves to put it onto the tabletop. Because currently I have Ticket to Ride Legacy here, and that is not at all Sanderson-esque. But that's my answer. So get back to your mail fraud and stealing my mail, or stealing your mail, or stealing mail in general. So, don't do that. Don't steal mail. It is not okay. Unless there's a gift card in there, then don't do it either, because that is definitely theft of property. Back to you, Chris and Wendy.
Wrong again!
No.
Drake?
No.
Chris and Wendy, what a hack. Stealing mail, suggesting you steal mail. Can't figure out Brandon Sanderson titles. Has he read a book? Let's be real.
Well, he had the book in front of him, and he didn't even read the title. He said, it's like right there, I can see it.
I can
see
it.
Read it?
What letter is that?
Didn't.
It's the one with it's a little stick like this and another stick like, is that a P? You are. Anyway,
What IP would you like to see in board games, guys?
I'm gonna go with a literary one as well, actually.
Oh, really?
If I
Okay.
may
Gotcha.
follow.
Please
Brian
do
Drake
quickly.
there. Now these books, I have read these books. I know what they're called. I know who the author is.
2 up already on Drake.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is Stephen King's The Dark Tower series of books.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know this.
I would love for them to make, well, for one thing, more than one movie. You know what I mean? This thing was in development for I don't know how long, and then it's a series of books, mind you, 7 books, big books, and they made one movie that tried to put everything in one movie, and the movie was an hour and a half long.
What?
They botched it. The movie's okay, but it if you don't know the books, you're like, it's an okay movie. If you do know the books, you're like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I would love to see this world brought to the table. It is a post-apocalyptic Western set in a fantastical realm in
If
which
you throw
the
Cthulhu
world...
in there, it's everything you love.
Are there Cthulhu overtones in this? It kind of has everything, honestly.
Wow.
It is a world that has moved on. So post-apocalyptic, there are mutants, there's radiation, clearly
I love
radiation. Some things from our world sometimes sort of pass into that one. So he might be he and his companions, the gunslinger is the main protagonist. He will be walking across the desert and come across an abandoned fuel pump. And he's like, doesn't know what that is, but we know what it is.
Right.
And there are monsters. There are, he's a very good gunslinger. He passes from that world into our world sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
And moves around like New York City sometimes and things like that. It's a gigantic scope, and I don't know how they would tackle that. But I would love to see a game set in that universe.
Oh, that's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I almost said the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, but Mike Keller said there's a game coming out later this year, Deck Builder by John D. Clare. So I was like, that's super
Based
exciting.
on what?
Mistborn.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, oh, because that was going to be my pick. But then I remembered about Pinky and the Brain. I want a Pinky.
When I think Sanderson, I think Pinky and I think the Brain.
I think that would be
What do you want to do
much
tonight?
fun.
Write every book ever.
The world. No, I think this would be really cool. It could be like a 1 versus many. It could be just a 2-player game. One doing Pinky and the Brain, the other doing just trying to control the world. Trying to control the chaos. So many different ways it could go. I just think it could be a lot of fun chaos with some strategy in there because the brain is very strategical, right? And trying to make it work. And, is this the time he finally succeeds? I think that'd be so much fun and just
That's pretty
such
good.
a flashback, but such a flashback and fun theme that could have a good game behind it as well. Not just a kid's cartoon that is a throwaway, like a half the Scooby-Doo games that we have that are just meant for kids, So anyway, Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain.
Yes.
I would.
Fantastic.
For me, I want to say I think there's a ton of anime that would make extremely good IPs for games. There are companies out there that make anime games or whatever, but I feel like most of them fall short massively. All the ones that I've played, I'm just are not really my style because I'm into gamer games, not something light or something that's just solid mechanically. I'd love to see something solid mechanically in Full Metal Alchemist or One Piece or even just a solid Naruto game. I've played a bunch of them. I didn't like any of them, So it would be really cool because the stories are so rich and so full, and there's a lot of younger people and people just in general that are really into anime now. So it'd be really cool to see some solid anime games coming out. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
One Punch.
One Punch.
Pinky and the
Who would
Brain.
play One Punch? He'd be
Unmatched.
OP.
Yes.
Put One Punch in Unmatched. So
He just has a card that's
against Pinky and the Brain.
infinite damage or something.
Yeah,
or
he's
infinite.
just
If this card goes unblocked, you win.
game's over.
Game's over.
One Punch!
Exactly. But yeah, well,
All right.
That is Board Game Breakfast for everybody. Do make sure to go check out the Dice Tower Kickstarter. We do rely on your funding to make sure the show and stuff happens. So make sure to check all that stuff out. Lots of cool goodies you can get there as well.
Yes.
I'll make sure to check out Dice Tower East and West. Registrations as well are still open. So make sure to check out those as well. It's always awesome to come to one of these events. We talked about the cruise. The cruise has happened. You can still come to West or East and hang out and play games with us there.
All the games are going to be there.
So many.
And but yeah, well, we gotta get going. So thank you so much for joining us on Board Game Breakfast. I'm Roy Kennedy.
I'm Z.
I'm Camilla.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.